So in How to Feel Good, basically we're talking about how can I feel better? Because nobody wants to feel cruddy. Most people want to feel better physically, emotionally, spiritually. And so Proverbs 11:17, I think, it encapsulates this.
A man who is kind benefits himself, but a cruel man hurts himself.
So this proverb, just simple, pithy saying and truth. A man who is kind benefits himself. A lot of times I think we think of kindness as just, I got to do for others. I got to put myself out there. I've got to deny myself. When literally the proverb lets us know, by the way, when you're kind, you're actually benefiting yourself.
Yes.
And I think individuals don't always realize that. And,
going down memory lane here kind of underscores that.
And again, I'll sort of appeal to our nurse practitioner for maybe some scientific correction on these, but this is at least what some of my cursory study found, and that is number one, if you want to feel good, kindness certainly is a way to feel good, because doing acts of kindness boosts our serotonin levels. This is a brain neurotransmitter that's responsible feeling satisfaction, sense of well-being, as well as our endorphins, which are hormones that are secreted in the brain that activate like an opiate or analgesic effect, like a painkiller. So when it comes to feeling good, it's fascinating. From my view, we are created in the image of God. And, God has stamped eternity in our hearts. And so even in our fallen state, I believe there are elements where we see the handiwork of God, to where even that being kindness has a physiological benefit to us. So a lot of times people are like, I just want to escape. And you end up feeling worse. You indulge, you binge watch, you binge eat, you binge something or whatever for self rather than for others. And you wonder, why do I feel cruddy?
Well, when you've had something terrible, unkind happen to you, and you're sitting in the pain of that, sometimes the best way to just feel better is to actually do something kind for someone else in that moment.
Right. And the point is not to say, I'm going to be kind because I'm selfish. I'm saying it has a self-benefit.
It takes your focus off of yourself.
So, again, kindness for feeling good mentally, but also for physical health. Doing acts of kindness boosts oxytocin. It's the hormone that causes the expansion of blood vessels in the heart, protecting it by lowering blood pressure. Okay, so oxytocin also reduces bodily inflammation and contributes to, several, that inflammation is what contributes to several life-shortening health problems. So if you are doing acts of kindness, now I'm not saying if you have congestive heart failure, hey, don't go to the doctor, just do acts of kindness.
Or that it means you're an unkind person.
But when it comes
there are more factors that contribute to bad health issues.
Absolutely. Hey, I'm going to, anyway. But, when you see that doing acts of kindness actually has physiological and physical impacts on your heart, on your brain, you realize, whoa, this is more than just simply being like Jesus. This is something that God has almost designed to incentivize us if we're smart enough to pay heed.
Dudley says you're correct on your.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. And then the last one, kindness for less stress. Doing acts of kindness served as a natural remedy for anxiety in a Canadian study on happiness. So apparently, the Canadian lawnmower there must have heard the study. And so when it comes to this, you realize it's a contributor in establishing meaningful relationships. Why? People are attracted to kind people.
Yeah.
And so the more relationships you have that are meaningful and healthy, they increase your lifespan, going back to the Harvard study we did on happiness a long time ago. So, did you know, maybe you didn't know, that withholding kindness is actually damaging for your physical and emotional health? So,
super fascinating.
Job 6:14, who would have known the need for kindness.
Anyone who withholds kindness from a friend forsakes the fear of the Almighty. Well, that's a whole nother level there.
Yeah. So,
you do not fear God.
A lot of times we ask the question, what does love require?
Yeah.
A la Andy Stanley. Well, I'm going to ask sort of a modified, what does love not require?
Yeah.
Because sometimes there's a balance that's needed. Kindness does not negate or avoid the times in which bluntness, directness, rebuke, or reprimand is the appropriate Christ-like response. Kindness is not, again, just weaselly doormat, whatever. Jesus said a lot of hard things to his followers and to outsiders, and he was the total embodiment of loving kindness.
Yes.
And we see this in David writing in Psalm 141.
Let the godly strike me. It will be a kindness. If they correct me, it is soothing medicine. Don't let me refuse it, but I pray constantly against the wicked and their deeds. Boy, we don't believe this verse, do
Well,
we?
again, if it's just coming from somebody whose character
Mean-spirited,
is cruel, well, yeah, you don't have to take it seriously. But if this is coming from somebody who
loves you,
yeah,
cares
and,
about
and
you.
is in a place of respect, take it seriously.
Yeah.
Which leads to a question, and again, I'm going to move on, but love to hear your answers in there. What's a good example of a person who showed you kindness by correcting or reprimanding you? And did you recognize it right away, or did it take time for you to look back on saying, "What that actually helped me"? I can think of a time. I had a professor politely and firmly put me in my proper place when I needed it, and that was a kindness. I can think of other times and other examples as well. So I mean, they are out there. We don't always necessarily like them, but it is something that
and it's possible
is an expression of
that
kindness.
there's still something you can think of where someone did correct you, reprimand you, but you never really thought of it in the light of kindness. So it's possible even this question would cause you to sort of reframe a situation in your past that you can look back now and say, you know what, that really was a kindness that someone did that.